And now, quick commerce giant Swiggy Instamart is under the scanner after the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, or FSSAI, issued 9 notices over a series of consumer complaints involving allegedly expired, spoiled, and contaminated food products. The regulator says that the complaints point to possible violations of the Food Safety and Standards Act, including the sale of expired food, improper storage and handling, misleading licensing information, and shortcomings in consumer grievance redressal. Among the products flagged are eggs, whey protein, packaged snacks, milk, and even infant food formulations. And in some cases, consumers allegedly received rotten or contaminated items, while others claim that products were supplied after their expiry date. Now, FSSAI has also raised concerns over incorrect or invalid license details and alleged gaps in seller verification, food quality monitoring, and traceability. Now, the food regulator has sought a detailed explanation from the company, along with records of its quality checks, inventory management, hygiene standards, storage practices, and corrective measures taken to prevent such incidents. The regulatory body has warned that failure to submit the compliance report within the stipulated time could invite legal actions under the Food Safety and Standards Act. The notices come at a time when quick commerce platforms are witnessing rapid growth, putting the spotlight on whether speed of delivery is being matched by food safety and quality standards. And for more on this, I'm being joined by Professor Bijon Kumar Mishra, who's a consumer policy expert, and Sagar Kurade, Managing Director of Suman Food Consultants. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for taking out the time to join me on the broadcast. Let me first go across to Professor Bijon. Do you think, Professor, that this quick commerce promises, deliveries in minutes, is actually compromising food safety in its race against time? Because somebody who relies heavily on these quick commerce platforms, it's a very concerning matter as a consumer as well.
Well, I fully agree with you, and I want to congratulate your channel for taking up this cause, and also congratulate Food Safety Authority for becoming proactive in redressal mechanism on complaints received from the consumers, which is a very good sign, which I had never seen happening earlier. But now that it is happening, I feel very, motivated. That it's very encouraging. I would definitely say that all these platforms which are trying to promise delivery at a particular given time, they are focusing on the food quality and safety. I'm quite confident about that, because the issue which I want to raise is that every food has got a processing time, and in terms of how it needs to be packed and delivered, in terms of cold chain, in terms of assuring that the quality is safe as per standards stipulated by the Food Safety Authority, and also ensuring that there is proper hygiene maintained where the food is being manufactured. And what I heard, which was alarming, that they're also not having licenses, and some of them are violating the terms of licenses. This is ridiculous. How can anybody conduct business without adhering to the terms and conditions of the license? You see, so very strong action should be initiated, not only notice. I expect Food Safety Authority to ensure that very stern action, deterrent action is taken, so that such lapses do not happen in the future. Because you cannot compromise on the food and on the health and safety of the consumer. It entails that, it can lead to serious disease, it can lead to serious health issues, it can even lead to death. So these are, you can't play around with the food quality and safety. So I'm very happy that the authority has taken cognizance of the complaints received from the consumers. They should work very transparently to let us know what is the follow-up on these notices which has been done, so that we as consumers start believing the process and the system adopted by the regulator. We have full trust in what the regulator is doing. But there needs to be some kind of a trust building process which had actually got diluted in the last few years. I would suggest that Food Safety Authority should further strengthen their surveillance mechanism and be able to assure customers or the consumers in terms of not allowing anybody to compromise on the health and safety of the consumer and the quality of the food. And it's all stipulated. It's no rocket science. It's been given, very categorically, what are the safety norms you have to follow, what are the hygiene norms one has to follow. So I'm sure all these platforms, they just can't get away saying that I'm just an aggregator, I just create a platform, it's for the consumer to decide from where to pick up and deliver. No, you cannot enroll such establishments which are compromising on the standard, quality, and safety.
Absolutely. Mr. Sagar, let me bring you in the conversation as well. Who do you think is who's ultimately responsible when unsafe food reaches a consumer? The platform, the seller, the warehouse operator, or the brand itself?
So that's a very good question. So there are a series of chain before which a consumer gets their product into their hands. That chain consists of the manufacturer who's manufacturing the food product. Then there is a distribution and storage mechanism, and then there is retailers who kind of retail, store, and distribute it to the consumers.
Right.
So the nature of offense is subject to what on whose offense it lies. So, for example, if the issue is of a product quality, then that product quality tentatively falls on the manufacturer side. If the issue is with regard to storage or with regard to expired date deliveries, then that would fall pretty much under the retailer or whoever has delivered the product to the consumer.
Okay, Mr. Professor Bijon, I just want to ask you one more thing. Since you mentioned that we trust and we need transparency from the regulatory body, but how serious do you think these allegations are? Because as a consumer, I'm not dealing with the regulatory body. I'm dealing with the platforms that are serving me, and the allegations are so severe because it's talking about eggs, it's talking about whey protein that we use in our day-to-day lives.
You asked me?
Yes, sir. Professor Bijon, I'm asking the questions for you.
Did you ask me?
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Sorry. I didn't get your question. Sorry.
I'm asking, since you mentioned about how there's a trust on the regulatory body and there is a need for transparency, but as a consumer, I'm dealing with platforms like Swiggy, I'm dealing with platforms like Blinkit, and the allegations are so serious because it's flagging the commodities that they're flagging. It's eggs, it's whey protein that I'm using in my day-to-day lives. So how serious do you think these allegations are, and how dire is the need for transparency from the regulatory body and from platforms like Swiggy Instamart?
It is absolutely urgent. It is priority. It is priority because you please try to appreciate that you cannot compromise with the consumer's health and safety. And that is why we created the Food Safety and Standards Law in our country in 2006. And we did that, and then we had an authority to ensure that there is a effective and efficient oversight in terms of regulatory oversight, and set up standards which are dynamic, which keeps changing, because we have to understand that quick commerce is growing in a rapid way in our country. So we have to make sure that while the industry grows, while the distribution channels become a big kind of a convenience for the consumers have to be educated. They have to be made aware in terms of the seriousness of these issues.
Absolutely.
And consumers must also be able to make an informed choice based on what the regulator is saying through channels like you all. You all are taken the initiative to actually highlight these issues, which also the Food Safety Authority should be doing in collaboration with the channel.
Absolutely.
And I would like to see tomorrow that the Food Safety Authority is taking such stands or taking such initiatives that they're educating the consumers.
Well, thank you so much, Professor. I'm completely running after time. Thank you so much, Professor Bijon Mishra and Mr. Sagar, for joining me on the broadcast and taking out the time.